Today, searching for the ultimate Bowie pressing, plus some Canadian rock, some jazz, and other recent pickups, including metal.
Channel 33, RPM, yeah, 33, RPM, Channel 33, RPM, yeah, Final Gear and more.
Hi, my name is Frank. Welcome back to Sundays on Channel 33 RPM, your channel for vinyl, gear, and more. I do not have much of a preamble to today's video. I don't want to waste time because we got so many records to show you, plus a couple of CDs.
Channel 33 RPM.
So longtime viewers of this channel will know that I love my original Canadian pressing of David Bowie's Let's Dance. It has such a huge soundstage and it just sounds amazing. Unfortunately, the record itself is not in the best condition. I'd like to say it's VG+, but it's probably closer to VG. It's got a lot of snap, crackle, and pop, so I've been doing my best to try to find a replacement for this record that will sound just as good, but I haven't had much luck yet. A few months ago, I showed you the recent repress of Let's Dance that just came out this year. And it sounded okay, but it wasn't as good as the original. It sounded a bit flat in comparison. So Reverb LP reached out to me and they said they offered me a $50 credit to check out the Reverb LP website. So I did. And I found a couple of records I'll show you, including this US pressing of Let's Dance. And I was so looking forward to getting this one. And I gotta tell you, it does not sound as good as my original Canadian pressing. I mean, it sounds good, but not as good. So my hunt for the ultimate pressing of Let's Dance continues. Have you guys ever run into this? Just, you have this one pressing that sounds so good and the other ones just don't compare. And you know what? I may end up just holding on to that original Canadian pressing and just kind of put up with the snap, crackle, and pop. Or more likely next time there's the local record fair here, I'll go to that and try to track down that pressing because for whatever reason, it's just got that certain magic to it. Maybe it's in my ears, maybe it's made up, I'm not sure. But the hunt continues. So I was just mentioning Reverb LP. Here's the other one I picked up. I'm not a huge fan of this band, but they're okay. This is the debut album from Canada's The Tragically Hip. These guys are huge in this country, and original pressings of their album are like black gold. They're not much of a force to be reckoned with outside of Canada, but here it's like Canada's national band for whatever reason. And when singer Gord Downie died back in 2017 from a brain tumor, it's like a national day of mourning almost. This is their first album. It's a US press, but what is cool about this one is that it's not just an original pressing, it is a gold label promo. You can see right there. It says MCA Records, sale is unlawful. It's hard for me to make this out. For promotional use only. That's the dog. Hold on, there's someone at the door. Anyway, a decent debut album for sure, and for the price I paid, I think it was $20 or less. I had to grab this. I'm happy to have this as part of the collection. What else do I have? I got a couple record store day releases that I never showed you because I haven't done, I don't think I've done a vinyl update since Record Store Day. This one here was a Canadian exclusive. Kevin Hearn and friends present an epic 15-minute medley of classic superhero songs. So you're thinking, Frank, why did you buy this record? You're not a Kevin Hearn fan. I'm not sure even how to pronounce his name. And truthfully, I'm not. Kevin is from the Bare Naked Ladies. But I went to a really cool local record shop here in Winnipeg called Planet of Sound. And he told me I should check this out. It's $15. It comes with a comic book. And 100% of proceeds from this album go to a charity called Music Counts, Canada's music education charity. All the proceeds from this went to help kids learn more about music, which is a very good cause. And the record store owner says this was actually provided to record stores in Canada for free, for zero, and they can charge whatever they want. And the record stores were asked then to forward 100% of proceeds to Record Store Day Canada, and the money would be sent and used for that charity. So of course I jumped at the opportunity. It's very short, but it features Kevin Hearn, who else is on here? The Rio Statics, Ron Sexsmith, the Violent Femmes, again, doing all of these superhero songs. This is number 176 of 500, and it came with this really cool comic book. The other Record Store Day title I picked up is a double album release from Beth Hart, live from New York, front and center. I learned about Beth Hart, I discovered her from the albums she did with blues rock guitarist Joe Bonamassa. She's kind of vocal jazz, R&B, blues, that kind of stuff. And again, this is live from New York. It's okay. It's not her best. It's not the best live representation of her. Yeah, I was happy to grab it. I am a Beth Hart fan. Here's one that I'm really digging. This is the debut release of original material from Sammy Hagar and The Circle. And to tell you the truth, so I had pre-ordered this on Amazon, and then I was previewing it on Spotify, and I was so close to canceling my pre-order because I did not immediately connect to this album on Spotify, but it was too late. It was already shipped. And I'm really, really glad that I ended up getting it, because I'm not sure if you've ever experienced this. You've heard something, online streaming, and you thought, it was okay. But when you finally get the product in your hand, and maybe it's a matter of, I'm not sure if it was a matter of streaming versus vinyl. I don't think that's what it was. I think that once you have ownership of something, you feel you have to pay more attention to it to really get your money's worth. Maybe that's what it was. I'm not sure, but I really started digging this album. And it's sort of mellow Sammy, but this may very well be my summer of 2019 album. It is really good. So for those of you not familiar with The Circle, it's Sammy Hagar, probably best known as the replacement for David Lee Roth and Van Halen. It's got Michael Anthony on bass. It's got Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son, on drums. And the guitar player's name is the one I always forget. It is Vic. I don't see it. I'll put the bottom of the screen. One of my first thoughts was, the guitar playing on here is okay. You're so used to hearing Sammy with Eddie, and Eddie's one of the best. Vic is no Eddie. As I said, this album grew on me. It's really nice to hear Michael Anthony's background vocals in this release too. It really harkens back to that old Van Halen sound. So the other thing is, this is it's supposed to be a concept album. There was a sticker on here saying listen to this album in its entirety and try to enjoy it in its entirety, because it is a concept album. And I'm not quite picking up on the concept. It's got to do with money and greed and loss and redemption, or something like that. But there's also some lyrics about living out in the country and farming and working the land. So as far as concepts, I'm not really picking up what Sammy is throwing down, but nonetheless, I'm really digging this record, and I would recommend that you pick it up. I do have some more records I want to show you, but I also have some CDs. The first CD I want to show you is from Enforcer. These guys are part of the new wave of traditional heavy metal. They are from Sweden. I'm a big Enforcer fan, but to be perfectly honest, I'm not loving this new album. They stated that they had set out to sort of create this epic heavy metal album, and when it rocks, but when they're trying to be epic, I find, it's sort of self-indulgent, perhaps is the word. So it's not my favorite Enforcer. Zenith just came out, but check it out on Spotify and see what you think. As I said, when it rocks, it rocks, but when it doesn't, it doesn't. These guys are touring North America this fall, and I do plan on checking them out. The other CD I bought is the Dave Brubeck Quartet, Time Out, Take 5. I'd mentioned probably a couple of months ago that I'm trying to get into jazz, and that when it comes to jazz, I'm a total newbie. So a couple of you recommended that I check out this album, including Gilly Beck. My pal Gil suggested I check it out. So I found the CD relatively cheap, $5, $6, $7, and I'm really digging it. Dave Brubeck is known for his sort of odd time signatures, and this album, from what I understand, is a jazz classic, so I am really digging it. So thank you, dear 33ers, for this recommendation. Next up, this is a record I had been searching for the longest time. It's Motley Crue's live album, The End, live in Los Angeles. So this documents Motley Crue's supposed last live performance ever, and it comes with a DVD as well, and this was on sale on Amazon. The price dropped to like $20 Canadian, which is like $15 or $16 US. It was a crazy good deal. So I had to snap it up. And I'm really liking this album. As we all know, live Motley Crue is hit and miss. And they do use a lot of backing tracks when they're playing live. Obviously, Vince's vocals are live. If you've heard Motley Crue live, you know what I'm talking about. You know, he sings maybe every third word. But the background vocals are mostly canned. If you listen closely to some of their more recent stuff, you can also hear a second guitar in places, and there's obviously only Mick. And of course, when they do, what's that song, Don't Go Away Mad, Vince pretends to play guitar, but he's not really playing, so there's another acoustic guitar going on some pre-recorded tracks. But I'm a Motley Crue fan. I do not endorse bands playing to backing tracks. That is usually a big turn-off for me, but I do enjoy this album at the end, particularly for the price. So if you see it, again, it is worth picking up. Couple of more to show you. Oh, this is one I got a while ago from 33er. Old school Slayer, Hell Awaits. My favorite era of Slayer, sort of that South of Heaven, Seasons in the Abyss. South of Heaven and Seasons in the Abyss. This is some old school Slayer though, so I'm really digging it. And this is one of the recent reissues on Metal Blade Records, and they did a fantastic job of it. Okay, 2 more recent pickups. This is a best of from Helix, featuring old Helix tracks up into some recent stuff. And normally I would not pick up a best of, but I saw Helix along with Kick-Axe and Killer Dwarfs play one of the casinos here a month or 2 back, and they had these signed copies for $30 Canadian. So I jumped at the opportunity. You could meet the band afterwards, but I did not feel like waiting in line. And I've met them before. Singer Brian Vollmer is a really cool guy. It was a good memento of a really, really great gig. I found this one relatively cheap. It's a best of from the Runaways. And of course, the Runaways featured Joan Jett and Lita Ford. And believe it or not, I had no Runaways on vinyl. And this was, I think it was like $20 brand new or something like that. $20 Canadian, which is like 15 or 16 US. But it's great. It's got all the songs you want to hear from Runaways, Cherry Bomb, Queens of Noise, School Days, Waiting for the Night. It goes on and on. I'm happy to finally have some Runaways, even if it is a recent reissue. All right, 33ers, those are some of my recent pickups. I've been really busy listening to music, but what better thing is there to do, particularly on a Friday night? Friday nights are my time to listen to records. Let me know what you thought of these pickups in the comments below. Do you have any of them? What are your thoughts on them? I would love to know. We would love to know. Remember, if you enjoyed today's episode, to leave a quick like. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that button. Otherwise, dear 33ers, I hope each and every one of you has a fantastic week. Until next time, keep on spinning.